Hey, what is up, guys? You're watching Epic Pokemon TCG, and today, guys, what I have for you, it is a Greens RESHIRAM Charizard deck. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. So a couple things before we get into this video. One, I'm not 100% sure if I want to add in another Bronzong counter or not. I'm kind of up in the air about it. That is something I have been thinking about, but at the same time, I kind of already have one. And it kind of comes into that like awkward thing of like if I add one, that's just kind of like me having to take out something, and then I'd be using my GX attack on a stage one prize attacker. But if they're using Bronzong, then I'm probably facing like a metal deck or something. So it's just one of those things. I'm kind of up in the air about it. I guess it's like a personal preference for you. And also, there is supposed to be another video up before this one, but I cannot for the life of me get a take that I like. So I'm still working on that. So make sure to stay tuned for another video. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this one, you know what to do. Give that video a thumbs up and subscribe for some more content, guys. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let's go ahead and take a look at Reshiram Charizard here. So has the attack outrage for 30, and then of course with this big whopping 270 HP, this attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So yeah, you could actually potentially hit for some pretty insane damage with outrage. It's pretty nice. Next up, it has Flare Strike for 230 for 4 energy, 3 fire, and a colorless. This honestly is just a solid attack. You can get it set up pretty easily. Not too bad there. But we also have Double Blaze GX for 200 plus, and then for 3 fire energy and plus. And you get an additional ability if you have 3 extra energy attached to it. Basically, it's going to do 100 more damage, and then it's going to get past any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's where I'm like, do I really want to add in a Bronzong counter? But like I'm up in the air about it. Like I said, it's something that I might monkey around with, but right now I don't have one in there. But the thought is definitely there if I do want to add one. I ran into a weird situation the other day, actually, when I was playing this deck, which was for the other video. I was trying to get a gameplay, but I did my GX attack and I knocked out something because I did Flare Strike, took a couple prizes, and then I was going to follow it up with Double Blaze. And then after I used my GX attack, I saw a Ditto sitting on the bench, and the Ditto became a Bronzong. And that's where I was like, okay. Yeah, so Double Blaze GX is honestly just a really good attack. You can do 300 damage if you get, 6 energy on this. And then also it's going to get past, I think it's Keldeo GX that has the ability where GX and EX can attack it, or GXers or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, that's definitely something to think about. Yeah, so Reshiram Charizard is actually a really solid attacker, and it's a deck that I actually really enjoy. When I first read this card, I was like, all right, this is BS. But with all the stuff out right now, it's somewhat semi-manageable. But I don't know. And plus, also the reason why I'm doing the greens version of this deck is because in real life and online, I don't have all the stuff to make the ability version, I guess is what you could call it, or Reshiram Charizard and Friends or something like that. But yeah, I don't have all the stuff for it, so that's why. But the next one we're going to take a look at is going to be Volcanion. Now, Volcanion actually serves multiple purposes in this deck. First off, it is a one prize attacker, which is really nice to have in a deck that has, 3 prize attackers. But it also has some energy acceleration to it. So Fire Starter is a really good attack. Search your deck for a Fire Energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you go second and it is your first turn, instead search for up to 3 Fire Energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So yeah, if you go second in your first turn, you can get 3 energy right out of your deck. You're thinning your deck out, and you're also getting a Reshiram Charizard set up. And of course, that is really good with Double Blaze GX, really nice there. But it also has a really decent attack. So High Heat Blast for 2 Fire Energy, or just like 1 Welder, pretty much is really good. It does 50, and if you have at least 4 Fire Energy in play, this attack does 60 more damage. So that means this one prize attacker can come up and hit for 110 for 2 energy. And really, this can soften stuff up so that way you can come in later with Flare Strike and just kind of clean them up. But honestly, Volcanion just serves multiple purposes in here. This attack is really helpful. I mean, if they can't knock it out and you're just kind of sitting there raining fire down, we'll keep this appropriate. Yeah, if you're able to just kind of hit a few Pokemon for 110 or just like at least 2, it just kind of makes like the cleanup process a little easier, and that way you can save your GX attack. But Volcanion all around is just a really good card that I enjoy in this deck. But I figure as supporters go, we need to take a look at greens first because there is some explanation to go along with this card. You can only play this card if you have no Pokemon with abilities in play, as we do not. We just have Reshiram and Volcanion. Search your deck up for 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. shuffle your deck. Now you can grab everything from Cherish Ball all the way down to Welder. You can grab all this beautiful stuff here. So yeah, this is actually really good because we run a couple cards in here that you do need 2 copies of to really maximize its potential. First off is going to be Custom Catcher. You may play 2 Custom Catchers at once. If you played 1 card, draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. So if you have no cards in your hand, you can just get 3, which is pretty helpful. And then if you play 2 cards, it's basically just a Lysander or a Guzma, but you don't switch. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, which is pretty good. I mean, you can just kind of greens for 2 custom catcher, bring something up, and then go from there. And the next card we're going to take a look at is Mixed Herbs. You can play 2 Mixed Herbs at once. If you played 1 card, remove a special condition from your active Pokemon. If you played 2 cards, heal 90 damage and remove all special conditions from your active Pokemon. So this essentially just kind of makes Reshiram Charizard somewhat of a tank. I mean, 90 damage can sometimes mess with numbers. It just depends on what deck you're facing off against. But you can grab 2 Mixed Herbs out of your deck with a Greens Exploration. Did I say that word right? I messed it up the first time. Oh, goodness. But yeah, you can grab 2 of those out of your deck. Also, something that I have done multiple times with this deck is I'll have a Mixed Herbs in my hand, and I will greens for a Great Potion and a Mixed Herbs, which is pretty good. And Great Potion pretty much just allows you to heal 50 damage from your active Pokemon GX. Pretty good card. And all that put together is 140 HP healed for the turn. Pretty good. Next up, we're going to take a look at Cherish Ball. Now, Cherish Ball is a newer, I should say, searching card. Search your deck for a Pokemon GX, reveal it, and put it in your hand. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you have a GX in your deck, you can pull that right out and add it to your hand. Or you can just get a free searching card. Also, later on in the game, this can become a discarding card for stuff like Giant Earth, or how do you say that word? I don't know how you say that word. I've never used that word before. Or it can become a discard for Fiery Flint. Speaking of Fiery Flint, we're going to take a look at that next, actually. So Fiery Flint is pretty much a Ultra Ball for 4 energy, or for 4 fire energy. Pretty good. It just allows you to thin your deck out and get some energy to your hand for things like Welder, things like Heat Factory, etc. You know, Welder is probably the one you're going to be going for the most. Yeah, it's pretty good. And speaking of Giant Earth, I swear, guys, I've never used this word before. Now, this card's actually really good if you just do not feel comfortable discarding 2 cards with Fiery Flint. That can happen. That has happened before multiple times with me. I'm sitting there. I have the Fiery Flint in my hand, but I have stuff in my hand that I just want to hang on to. And sometimes I play really like passive, and sometimes I play really aggressive as far as discarding cards. It just depends on my mood for the day. But yes, this is actually a pretty good card because you can discard a card from your hand, which means you can pitch a card that you just probably don't need anymore, like Cherish Ball, for instance. And then you can search your deck for 2 fire energy cards and you put them in your hand. So this basically you can only get 2 fire energy, but you only have to discard 1 card, so it's like it's not as bad. You could just pitch one instead of like trying to figure out, what you want to ditch, for 4 fire energy. I've had issues where I've had to discard a custom catcher and a mixed herb or else I was going to lose the game because I just didn't have energy out on the board and I needed to attack that turn. It can definitely become awkward with Fiery Flint. But if you are running low on energy, we also have Fire Crystal in this deck. You can put 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Just a really good way for you to get some additional energy back. Really nice there. And the next card we're going to take a look at is going to be Pokegear. So Pokegear is going to allow you to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, and put them in your hand. I don't necessarily think you'll ever greens for this because if you're going through your deck and searching for a specific card you need supporter wise, you could just probably grab the supporter itself, but that's in here in case you definitely need it. Speaking of supporters, I guess we could take a look at the other 2 we have in here. So we have 4 Welder. Attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon, and if you do, draw 3 cards. So that essentially means you just get 2 extra energy on the field, and you get some draw power along with that too. Pretty good there. And then we have 1 Cynthia because Cynthia is a really dope card and really helpful, and for some reason I have 18 of them on Pokemon TCG Online. Oh, man. Next up, we have Power Plant. So Power Plant's actually a really good card. It could really stop a lot of decks, or not. I wouldn't say stop, but slow them down. So Pokemon GX and EX in play. Both yours and your opponent have no abilities. You do not run abilities in this deck. So this is not going to affect you whatsoever. So that means you're pretty much just kind of slapping it down saying, hey, your Dedenne is useless or whatever else is out there that is really popular right now that I'm having a brain fart and I can't think of. I talked about this card, but I figure we should go ahead and showcase it. Basically, you can just discard a fire energy and then draw 3 cards. It is a Prism Star, so that means once this goes bye-bye, it is bye-bye for good until they release something that gets Prism Stars back. I don't know if they will, but it's definitely a thought. And then the Shrine of Punishment, that's honestly in here for the Pika-Rom matchup. That's really why this is in here. That is like the sole reason why this card exists, is just that matchup itself. And then we also have Reset Stamp. Now, this card has been on somewhat of the controversial side that I have seen from Pokemon. People are saying this card should be banned, aka they're being emotional because they got hit by it and they probably lost, which is funny because clearly they never played during the end the end cycle. And you can make arguments that, oh, N was a supporter, this is a trainer, this is an item card. Pokemon players. Anyway, all arguments aside, this is a powerful card, especially in the deck where your opponent takes 3 prizes for knocking out your main attacker. You can reset stamp them down to 3 cards. It's just a little bit of a disruption card. I feel like, unfortunately, this is going to be something that is going to be a non-stop, pretty much just kind of like a rinse repeat cycle with people. Is a really good disruptive card is going to come out. They want it banned because they're emotional and they can't handle it. But still, Reset Stamp is a card that I feel like is actually really good. Yes, it sucks getting your hand reshuffled back in your deck and then taking the L, but it's something that is out there and we need to adapt. Now, we also have 2 switch in this deck as well. Flare Strike is definitely an attack that you need to make sure that if you want to use it, you need to make sure you have something to fall back on next turn, and switch is a little helpful for that. Or you can just switch into another attacker, because I believe Volcanion takes 2 energy to retreat, and Reshizard takes 3, so switch is definitely a very helpful card in here. Or you can switch off your Volcanion and bring up a Reshizard, so that way you have a little secondary attacker to come up later up in the game. And I think that's all the cards we talked about besides the energy. And we're going to round out the deck with 10 fire energy. If this was 17, this would be beautiful. I might just randomly trade away some fire energy just so I can have that number. Anyway, so the strategy of it is actually a very simple concept. It's basically your standard Reshizard deck, just probably not as aggressive. But you can use stuff like Green's Exploration just to pull stuff straight out of your deck to use, like the mixed herbs and the custom catcher, or it can just help with your setup. And then, I've already kind of talked about what you do with the deck. I forgot about Acrobike. I just remember that. Acrobike really is it just kind of helps you accelerate your deck a little better and just helps you hit like some specific cards or something like that. It's really good there. Yeah, that's going to do it, guys. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Which is pretty dope about this deck is I don't think it's as expensive. So if you're looking for like a somewhat budget Reshizard deck, there's also that promo Reshizard 2 that came out. That's actually how I'm able to play this deck in real life. When you're watching this video, I should actually be at a league challenge playing this list, so wish me luck. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, I'm going to keep up the videos here. I actually still have plenty more to come. I'm still working on that one I promised you guys at the start of the video. That'll be out here pretty soon, hopefully as soon as I can get a take that I actually like. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Love you. This is Epic Pokemon TCG, signing out.